All right, it will be his first full-blown press conference. It's going to happen on December 15th. Donald Trump indicating that at that conference with his kids with him, he'll be formally severing his ties to the Trump Organization, the company. He, of course, in the beginning with the help from his father, but built into a multi-billion-dollar concern from, I guess, a multi-million-dollar concern. But Mr. Trump saying, well, I am not mandated to do this under the law. I feel it's visually important as president to in no way have a conflict of interest with my various businesses. Now, of course, the devil is in the details, and if he does give it to the kids, it can't come up a din-din about what you're doing with the property or whether you're selling this building and this locale, another one in another locale. But he is saying now that something he's done for the past 40, 50 years, he will now sever, forget, move on, and run the country. To Charlie Gasparino, Democratic strategist Marcy Stech, and Town Hall's Pavlich. I still think, Charlie, that's going to be a lot easier said than done. What about you?
Yeah, some reason I do not buy that Donald is never, ever, ever going to talk about his business with his kids ever again while he's in the White House. I mean, that sounds like a stretch. The bottom line is, though, that there is, you know, he's right about the law. There's no specific law that says you can't do both, run your businesses and be in the White House. There are a lot of anti-corruption statutes which you could get tripped up on, you know, bribery statutes, which can get you in a lot of trouble. And here's the other thing, you know, it is kind of, I mean, I don't believe that he's just going to cut off. I mean, you know, you can take him at his word. That's your business. I know the guy. He's not going to cut off. But we do know the conflicts. They're much more transparent here than they were with the Clinton Foundation, where she was behind the scenes kind of working at the State Department under President Obama and kind of doing some stuff for the Clinton Foundation and benefiting donors with State Department stuff. I mean, that was pretty sleazy and undisclosed. We kind of know what he's doing here. But, you know, this is what we bought. I mean, we bought a businessman president.
You're right about that. But, you know,
yeah.
I was agreeing with that and thinking that until I realized the details we're talking about here.
Right.
He's got 515 companies in which he's a president, chairman, a member, or a trustee. And, Katie, what's interesting here is these entities are spread across 60-some-odd countries, some of whom we don't have the best of relations. So, I don't know. That sounds messy.
It's very messy. I agree with Charlie that this, you know, he's going to be more of an advisor now rather than running the show and making big decisions, I think. But I think he's realizing that being president isn't only a full-time job, it's an overtime job, just as running a company, as you just mentioned, that spans 60 countries is a full-time job. I think he's in a very good position to hand his company over to Ivanka and Eric and Don Jr. because they've been part of the company. They've been running big projects that have been very successful over the years. So I think they're more than competent to do it, but I certainly believe it's complicated. It will be interesting to see over the next couple of years if there are issues that arise with foreign governments and his business decisions.
I can't see the father not bringing this up at a dinner. And just saying, you know, Ivanka, whatever happened to that skyscraper we were putting up in Dubai. But having said that, Marcy, I mean, I know presidents in the past, the really wealthy ones, and a lot of times they've been mostly Democrat. So I'm talking about John Kennedy or even Franklin Roosevelt. Now, I know that was family money. It was easy to separate yourself from that and just say, well, that's Dad's business, or in FDR's case, that's Mom's business. But this is a whole nother beast, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And look, I think that actions speak much louder than Donald Trump's tweets. And if you look at the actions he's taken in these first 3 weeks of his transition, he has had an unprecedented, astonishing level of mixing his self-interest with the public interest. And that is the challenge he's going to have moving forward.
Where has he done
that? Including his family members in the transition, including them in meetings with foreign leaders. This is unprecedented, and this is also concerning.
But we have
if he were really serious about this, he would have set up an ethics firewall from day one.
There is no firewalls. There's no, I'm sorry.
By the way, Hillary Clinton was in a lot of meetings.
He would have done an ethics firewall. That is the way to do it from day one.
You got to stop until everyone speaks the truth here. Hillary Clinton was in a lot of meetings with her husband, Bill Clinton, when he was president. And I don't remember anyone jawboning about that, even when he was president-elect, and foreign leaders were coming to pay a call on him. So
you're absolutely right.
You have to be fair about that.
But there wasn't profit at stake, and that's what's different about the Trump family, is that they can make money off the American people, and that is the concern here.
You're too young to remember when Bill Clinton started out, but I'm telling you, there is precedent for this. All right.
And not only that,
and by the way, last time I remember, John Kennedy picked his brother to be Attorney General.
Oh yeah.
We'll leave that aside, and that that prompted no nepotism rules
but
here.
I'm just saying that, we bought this. I mean, this is Donald Trump is a businessman president. If he lowers taxes, let's be real clear here, which he wants to do, that's going to help his businesses. There's a theoretical conflict of interest. Now, I know there are conflicts and there are conflicts. But
well, how would you do it, Charlie? Do you think he should just sever all ties, a blind trust with, I don't know how you do that. 500+ companies around the globe? I don't know how that
I don't know how you do that. Listen, his kids deserve their inheritance. They deserve to work for a company. I think he needs to be vigilant, and the press should be vigilant in covering this.
But is he right on that legal statute, Charlie? That there is no.
Here's where it gets tricky. There is no specific language that says you can't run a business from the White House, but there are all these anti-bribery clauses, the annulment clause, and there's a whole bunch of them where if you do something that with a foreign government that somehow benefits your private business, you get in trouble for bribery. That's the tripwire. My point is this: there's always going to be conflicts with Donald. We bought it. He's the president. We just have to be vigilant. I think he made a huge mistake going to the New York Times and started speaking off the in a sort of stream of consciousness, saying I might do this. I might that made it sound like he was really planning to run this thing out of the White House.
Marcy, do you think? I mean, what are you going to be looking for? How would you propose he sever those business ties? You don't like this arrangement, and I'm only going on the legality that Charlie raised. Other lawyers have confirmed what Charlie just said. There are no hard and fast laws and rules on this. It's just stuff we do for appearance's sake, which is wise. I think sometimes that could be wise. But what would you do?
Well, look, I would say that he should sell his companies and put the proceeds in a blind trust and make sure that there are people
so the kids don't get to run it? The kids don't get paid. It's their money. And listen, there are conflicts and there are conflicts. Bob Rubin, when he worked for the Clinton White House, got rid of Glass-Steagall. And guess what he did when he left the Clinton White House? He went and worked for the biggest beneficiary of Glass-Steagall, known as Citigroup, and made gazillions of dollars. That's a huge conflict of interest, but it's legal. We're going to have to deal with it, and he's just going to have to be careful, and we're going to have to. But don't tell me like his kids don't deserve their inheritance. I mean, that's insane.
If he were serious about draining the swamp, he would leave his personal dealings behind him.
Well, Katie, real quickly, then, do we have to worry about other things when the Trump kids being unemployed? I think they're going to be in good shape, but what do you think?
Nobody was calling for the disbandment on the left for the Clinton Foundation.
Right.
Should Hillary, in the sake of Chelsea Clinton, they said that Hillary Clinton maybe should take a step back, but they didn't say it should be gone or not beneficial to Chelsea Clinton. So this idea that he should get rid of his billion-dollar business and not allow his children who are part of the business to run it is absurd. Will be issued in the future? Yes, but we can handle
Trump
those
kids out
as
on
they come
the streets
along.
looking for work. All right, guys,
This is about profits. This is about philanthropy.
Thank you.